history. Going back to December, Clippers have a bad taste in their mouth last night. These two worlds collide. I expect a very spirited effort here tonight from the Clippers. And when the tap, they'll have the ball to start the fourth quarter as well.
Listen, I need you to get your energy up. We need you to get started early right now. The Clippers can feel it through the TV. Let's go, Brian. Let's go.
And it was a rough start last night for the Clippers in a game in which they never led. Start to finish for the Pelicans. What a pass by Doncic to a.smith. On the switch. Doncic shouted by Zoo. Does a good contest, but Doncic fires over the top and knocks it in.
And you know what? Zoo played it correct. He had help on the baseline. He gave some space to Luka. If anything, you force him to shoot that shot. You don't want him to get down here and break down the defense.
Good for Paul George to knock down his first shot. Just 5 of 14 last night. The Clippers in a teeter-totter start to this one, out in front by 1. Mavericks got off to a slow start, but 15-4 in their last 19 games. Doncic shadowed by Jackson. A deep three this time. Doncic came into this game 5 of his last 20 from distance. Richardson for 3. Oh, what a feed from George and a flush from Kawhi running the fly pattern.
Well, there you finish your defense.
Ty Lue last night, as frustrated, I think, as we've ever seen him this season for the Clippers after that loss last night to the Pelicans. George tries to spoon feed Zoo. Errant pass retrieved by Kawhi.
Well, he should be frustrated, Brian.
Points in time, down 33. Very nice start for the Clippers, out in front by 5.
Well, I said this before. You're going to have some games in the NBA where the other team, your opponent's going to shoot lights out, and the score is going to be indicative of that. But what Kawhi is talking about and what we've been saying is just the effort hasn't been there consistently, and that's where you get frustrated.
In and out for Porzingis. Dallas coming off a very nice win over the Denver Nuggets, a game that was huge on a lot of levels. They now win the tiebreaker over Denver, should that come into play. And if you look at how bunched up the Western Conference is, you have to think every tiebreaker that you have is going to be a massive benefit. Doncic draws the foul, drops the bucket, and he's got one more coming.
Well, and, you know, with Luka right there, he's just getting into his bullet and see it, the body language look different, and we see it right now early in this game.
Richardson for 3. He's got back-to-back 20-point games. First time this season for him. George in transition, loses the handle. Unforced error for the Clippers and a live ball turnover. Kleber for 3. Very good from above the arc and above the break. Brings the Mavericks to within 1.
Yeah, averaging about 10 points, 6 rebounds over his last 5. Another member of this Mavericks team that can spread the court.
Senior in the corner for 3. Dueling banjos deep in the heart of... And to get it into Porzingis, shadowed by Zoo. Jumper is good for Kristaps Porzingis.
Well, and that's what makes him so tough. At 7 foot, his ability in the mid-range to just shoot over the top or step out behind the three-point line when he's healthy. It's a tough task to cover him one-on-one.
Zoo goes to work on a.smith, a good perimeter defender. Not sure he's going to... Jamie, great stuff. I think it was said last night. You are what your habits are.
Yep.
And we haven't seen the Clippers put together game after game after game of intense defense. And that was the first thing that Ty Lue talked to us this evening about. Defensive mindset every single night. Senior on the drive, ladles it in to Zoo. Oh, and he flushes it in with 2.
See, the Clippers going to put points on the board, and that's why it goes back to the defensive side of the ball. You know, having the consistency in the effort department. See Kleber right there missing the shot. That's what we're talking about. The effort. Do you give the effort on the defensive end each and every night? And that question has been known.
And there you see Ivica rolling and Kawhi Leonard dishing and back-to-back stuffs for Ivica. Zubac's Clippers out in front by 6.
Kawhi works that pick and roll with Zoo so well. Tough to stop.
Richardson chased by PG. Hardaway Jr. for 3. Rebound poked over to Kawhi, and the Clippers control, leading by 6.
And that was an example defensively, maybe a half a second behind, but because the Clippers kept rotating, they were able to get out a contested shot and force a miss.
Sr. inside makes it an 8-point affair. And Marcus Morris Sr. went 0 for 5 last night. He's 3 for 4 tonight with 7 points.
You think he's focused? Do you think he's a little focused right now?
Probably a little excited to be back in the starting lineup, although for what it's worth, it was his suggestion to come off the bench. Cleveland's reaction. I said, I assume it went well. He goes, it went very well. He's ready to help that second unit. George a step away, and it is all systems go here in the first quarter. Clippers lead by 10. There you see the scoring run.
The drive. I love the attack right now, not just by Kawhi, but the Clippers getting 2 feet in the paint.
Good closeout by Zoo. A little hesitation by Porzingis. And the Clippers get the stop. Reggie drives on Jalen Brunson. Brunson, a very nice piece for Dallas as Paul George misfires on a 3. Zubats literally bats the ball out to half court. Extended possession for the Clippers. George accelerates, lays it up. No, Zubats, flashes it in again.
Do your job. And for the Clippers, no one does it better, more consistently. And Big Zoo, another prime example, following the missed shot.
You know, it was funny when Zoo was struggling off the bench earlier in the season. Numbers didn't support really much of anything for him. He said, look, your numbers would go down too if you weren't playing with Kawhi and PG. Well, guess what? He's back in the starting lineup tonight and this second half of the season. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that trend up. They need to pick up some wins. They need to get some steam heading in to the playoffs. Terrence Mann makes his first appearance here in the first quarter. Gives to Batum. Now Leonard spins, fades, and fires. Boy, the Clippers are so good when he is posting up, and he knocks down the jumper there.
He's so tough. And back to your point about back-to-back, I think this is the perfect recipe for the Clippers in a back-to-back scenario. See Hardaway trying to get downhill against defensively, not to the Clippers last year, but they're going to test you for 2 nights in a row.
Brunson, after some very nice defense by Senior, still able to force up a shot and knock it in.
Last 12 games, Brunson has been averaging 16 points, shooting about 55% from the field. I'm very familiar with the young man because I got a chance to cover him during his 2 championship runs at Villanova. And he could have went anywhere in the country as a #1 point guard, but he chose to go to Villanova and come off the bench behind Ryan Arcidiacono to learn how to play the position. That just tells you about the intelligence level of this young man. And then from there, the rest is history for him at Villanova.
Well, he's just a winner. I mean, you could just tell by the way, even here with Dallas, he might not have the impact that Luka does, but you look under the kind of the hood a little bit, the advanced numbers, they all support him being on the floor.
Well, he's solid in what he does. He doesn't hurt the team. He does all the little fundamental things. And even when Luka's in there, he'll handle the basketball. And that allows Luka at times to play off the ball, kind of get some freedom. And on that second unit, when Luka's off the court, he kind of orchestrates a lot of what the Mavericks want to get offensively.
Of course, his father, a former Clipper, leather larceny. Here comes Terrence Mann back the other way. A whistle and a foul in transition by the heavily armed tattoo.